There you go. Yeah. Certain keys where that works so wonderfully.
I know, right?
All right, and there's your nerdery to start it out. How's it going, everyone? It's Sam and Shawn here tonight on the Wednesday night live stream. Just hanging out and having some fun. Going to be pretty loose tonight. We're going to walk through the Mark III and just kind of go over, some of our personal favorite tones on it and how we like to use it, answer some questions. And we were just talking before, like just being guys who come from very different fields of playing and how the amp can sound so different based off of that, and how kind of what we both gravitate to is vastly different, but very attainable within what you're working with.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like two completely different players, really, but the amp does pretty much what you tell it to, but everybody's going to dial them differently, and that's what's so cool. I always like hanging out with people that have the same amps, just to see like, okay, how did you dial that sound? And just being fascinated that the amp's dialed completely different for a different set of hands, and
Yep.
it's very cool.
Yeah, it's always fun seeing someone pick up your rig and you're just like, oh, it sounds like that.
Yeah.
Okay. It's
Yeah.
like very, very different.
What? Yeah.
Yeah. Shawn I'm not sure if we would boost that on our end, but can we boost his audio? Alex has got it. Okay, we got it on our end there. Yeah, if anyone, we are dialed up remotely here, obviously due to the present situation that we cannot really be together to do these things. So if anyone hears anything or with the audio or anything like that, just leave it in the comments and let us know, and we can take care of that there. As in, you can't hear him. Okay, well, I think we're good here. Let's go.
Can't hear me at all?
Can you hear that? Can anybody else not hear Shawn there? I can hear you pretty good hearing, right? I think we're feeding off the stream. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Good to go. Great. Cool. How's everyone doing? How's everyone's week going? How's everyone's Wednesday doing? Leave us a comment if you're here. Want to see who's here hanging out with us. I saw a couple people already throwing some questions in there that we'll jump to. Voice audio is there we go. Guitar's great. Okay. Cool.
Okay,
Sweet.
cool.
Yeah, we're good to go on that front. Awesome. Yeah. Otherwise, you said you were doing a bunch of tracking today, or what were you working on?
Yeah, just lots of different random things that I just had to get done demo-wise. I actually had to sort out the video for Sunday.
Yep.
So yeah, I've been just random demo stuff where I had solos and things I needed to get nailed for people, and
Nice.
and yeah, my ears are kind of
Yeah.
fading fast.
Talking about like palate cleansing. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. But at the same time, like I run into that too, where you're doing this all day and then you sit down to do it for fun and you're like, oh man, it's like it's kind of like staring at a screen all day. It's good to kind of cleanse that and have like a fresh tonal brain when you're going into those types of situations.
Yeah. It's funny,
Yeah.
man. I went and saw the Punch Brothers with my eldest daughter. She's
Oh, yeah.
going to be 21. But I went and caught those cats, and that was just haunting.
Yeah.
Wow. Just the
Yeah.
musicality, and it's just all acoustic instruments, and that kind of woke me up for a second, and then now I need to watch something else and get inspired again. But I guess that's
Yeah.
how you break it, is you got to listen to music, you got to learn songs. That's the only way I snap out of it. Otherwise, I just kind of trail into the abyss.
Yeah, totally. That's one thing I always say too. If I'm teaching and anyone asks about creativity, it's like just try to listen to lots of different stuff, and don't necessarily try to listen to the stuff that you're trying to create, because you're going to kind of be pulling influence from the same thing you're trying to do. Like it's good to, and I guess during COVID too, where, you know, going out and seeing live music, I mean, I know things are a little more open there, but, you know, for me, there's nothing, or for a lot of people, nothing quite like going to a show and being inspired by it and then going home and picking it up and going, you know.
Well, that's what was so weird. I kept looking around going, wait a second, am I at like a live show? This is live? Those guys are actually standing up there.
They're real people
around.
It's not a live stream, or it's not like a virtual concert, which is cool. That it's
remarkably clear.
It doesn't sound like it's all compressed. And
right.
It's crazy, man. Yeah, it'll be a great thing when we can get back into a full bore. But for now, doing this type of stuff has been a lot of fun. So it's good to get together and do this again for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I saw someone comment and say we should do an instrumental track. Oh, it was Ronnie. Maybe for you we can do that, Ronnie. We'll write like a Rev song one day and get everybody to throw a piece into it. That'd be fun.
That would be fun, yeah.
Yeah, get everybody to contribute.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
I saw off the hop. I was gonna say, get Scott, get Bo, get Derek. Derek would say he wouldn't want to do it, but Derek could definitely do it. That'd be cool. Do like a big like Rev collab. Yeah,
that'd be so fun.
Mm-hmm. Off the hop, I just saw there was one guy who left a question before we started, just asking about using a G20 or a D20 that has the two notes embedded. Why would you want to use the two notes products in conjunction with a product that already has that? Which is a good question. And there are different versions of that product. Maybe you would know, Shawn, better than I, the individual units and their capability, but there are different two notes units that have different capabilities. And therefore you might be able to get something from those that you may not, with like the version that's in the D or G20. You can, there's different cab options. I know with the Captor X, there's like the stereo option, which is on the new generator, but
right.
What would you say with that?
I wouldn't myself. I mean, I can think of, maybe the Captor X, because you could run into the Captor X and then your stereo. Mm-hmm. You've got better reverb options on the Captor X. It's a little more tweakable reverbs with the tone and the types of reverbs. Let me see. You got Twin Tracker on the Captor X, but that, as cool as that is, that's not something you would use all the time. I mean,
it's fun when you're on your own, yeah.
Yeah, but it depends on what's really important to you. I personally am. I guess it's like more of like the Torpedo Live, if you're familiar with that, is really what's in those amps.
Yeah, and that was the unit that I was the most familiar with. Yeah, on its own as well. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But I personally, I don't think I would. I don't think I could find a reason to do it unless I was just so like it was adamant. I was adamant about
like a specific
yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Yep. Which with the new amp you're able to do with the Twin Tracker.
Absolutely,
and yeah. Cool. On that note, I guess, let's get into that. Also, if you guys are here, make sure to smash that like button too. That really helps the algorithm on YouTube. We can get more people hanging out with us here and having fun and smashing said buttons with us. So please invite them to the button smashing extravaganza.
Yeah,
be great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Clayton, thanks for checking out the Kim Mitchell song. That was goofy. I'm glad you enjoyed it though.
That was cool.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I was like, how can we do this? Like, I always thought that with those vocals, it's like, man, that would make like a great double lead. Like the harmonies are so cool.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
it's like, why don't we do it?
Yeah, why not, man? No, it was so cool.
Sweet. Yeah.
Oh, I got L Scott Music. Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, Jack's here. Oh, Jack, you got your G2. Sweet. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yeah. Alrighty. Sweet. So I guess let's take a look at this here amp. So we're both using the 120. And I guess like off the hop, like with this one here, I've kind of just saved, like you can store your kind of preferred settings on the face of the amp, which I've done with this just because I'm using it on here. So I guess we could kind of just go to that, like, what's your kind of go-to sound with each channel,
Sure. Yeah, because for me, I mean, we could start on maybe the clean channel, and let's see. So what you guys are hearing right now, hopefully you can hear me. So let me turn this delay down. The delay you're hearing is that's on the old television set, kids. It's on the Zenith.
The Zenith
television console. Let me turn that down. So the reverb you're hearing is that's off the amp. So yeah, I mean that's generally how I have it dialed. So you guys can't see the amp, but the wide switch is on. If I shut it off, you'll hear the difference immediately. Not that it's a bad difference, but check it out. So that's off. So now it's really, really clean.
Dude, it's such an apparent thing.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like an enhancer. Like I don't really really know how to describe it.
Well,
like,
that's the thing. It does spread it out, but it makes that front end sound just a little more pushed.
Yeah.
So, there's an obvious kind of level boost, but it's much more than that. And then it just sounds better in what I call the cot positions, the 2 and 4 positions. Sorry about I hit the mic.
No, it's all good.
So that's off. And then back on. Just sounds sweeter. And of course the bright switch is on. I always keep that on unless I'm using a really bright IR or something. I like the top end. Treble is at about 3, mids are noon, bass is noon. So it's
yeah, it's funny because like I find especially with the clean channel, like I've barely touched the EQ on it because I generally go for just like with the wide switch on, kind of like very prominent highs and lows, just a lot of balance and kind of like girth to it, I guess, if that's the right word.
Yeah,
and
totally
with the wide and the bright switch is something like I think as you were mentioning, it's a top end thing, but it's also just a voicing thing, like in terms of the attack for me. Like I'll just quickly get some. Get a little bit of delay on here, and that's also with the verb on the amp. So like with the, I'll turn the delay off actually. So that's without the bright switch. And like even if I turn the treble up versus the bright switch itself, which I got here, it's not really like there's that much more top end.
It's just
like
a different top end. Yeah.
It's a different top end. And it's like a top end attack, and I just find it gives a little more of that kind of clackiness.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, which I like on, as you're saying, like pretty much every channel. I think I have it on for that reason.
Yeah. Well, and also the global presence, is really important too. But that's what I like about having bright switches on channels and then a global presence. Once again, it just helps you tailor the top end on your amp to the guitar and to the the cabs you're using, and it's kind of invaluable. Like right now, I've got my presence at about noon, but depending on what I'm doing, sometimes I'll crank the presence so I can do different things on the channels with the trebles and the bright switches, and that's what makes this amp so valuable in like especially a tracking situation, but also just not arguing with, like I said, other cabs and different guitars and how they ring. But yeah, that clean channel's really nice.
I think it's one of the most unassuming things, like, because Rev obviously made its name as a high gain amp company, and like anytime like the past few amps that I've sent out to guys like that are friends of mine that have ordered them, who are like predominantly heavy guys, they'll get their amp and they'll be like, yeah man, I'll text you in a little bit, let me know what you think, and I'll text them in like 4 hours and they're like, dude, I didn't even get past the clean channel yet. It's like they don't expect it, like they're expecting just a high gain machine, and it truly does have a unique clean channel.
Yeah, and I'm one of those cats that I really like reverb. So the fact that this amp's got like just reverb on board that I can turn on, that's kind of a simple spring style reverb, just makes my life so much happier. I mean, I can live without reverb. I shouldn't say it that way, but as I've gotten older, it's like I just like the sound of reverb, especially on like a clean channel. It's just it's just the thing.
Totally. Like Kevin Scaff said in his video, he doesn't need it because he plays arenas, but when you're playing at home, it's nice.
I loved that. It's like, yeah, but,
dude, I lost it when he said that. That was so good, man. I loved that. Me and Derek were just losing it.
Yeah. It was so hard because Travis and I had to sit in the room with him. So we weren't far from him. So we had to keep it together when he would crack us up, because otherwise we would end up on the mics and we'd have to redo the whole segment, but he was constantly... Yeah, he's awesome. He's a really, really sweet cat. He's such a good dude.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's so sweet. It doesn't really pertain to the subject, but when you guys are going to release solo albums, I am not sure. I have no idea.
Yeah, boy, that's
maybe
a booger for me.
Someday.
Yeah, I want
don't
to. Man, I would love to get like Keith Carlock and probably Pino Palladino if money was not an option.
Oh man, that would be so nice.
And just do like a trio. But yeah, I don't know. One of these days,
Dude, that would be insane. I was just thinking about that. I would listen to that so much.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Those guys would bury me, but that's what I would want. It's like I'd want to get players that just like.
Yeah, you want to play with dudes like that. Yeah, it makes you better. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with being shown up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't know. On my front, like, I'm always writing and stuff. I think with the last few singles, it was more or less just because they were ready, and I had like I'd send a couple of them out to people, and they're like, yeah, I'll track on it, and it just kind of happened. But I guess it kind of was like inspiring to do an album, but time is a thing, so we'll see what happens. Started GoFundMe for Shawn's album with Pino Palladino. Let's do it, Travis. Yeah. Cody, about to buy one worth the hype? Yes, absolutely. Hang out with us for the stream, and we'll show you how it sounds. We'll show you everything it does. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man. So much going on with this amp.
Yeah, for sure.
What does the Peter Trout Tolex do to the
tone? He calls me Peter Trout now because apparently I called it Peter Trout on the live stream by accident.
Oh, nice.
I don't know. I'm assuming that's where that came from. Or Travis just thought that was hilarious. And
well, it just makes the tone more kind of a moss fishy top end.
It's really shiny and glimmery and salty. Wait, no, they're not saltwater fish.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. Like I'm from Nova Scotia, and I don't even know that. Yeah. So sorry, Clean Channel 101 Trouts. That's how it goes. that's what we're here for. Is that action?
More like a cod or something? I don't know.
Yeah. The cod positions. That's what you're talking about, right?
We were just talking about cod positions.
Yeah, the cod positions, 2 and 4. You got to catch them in even numbers.
Oh my god! Yeah. People just coming into this stream are going to be like, "Yeah, I'm out."
Like, who are these idiots?
We're talking about what?
Yeah, it's funny you talk about the presence thing. Sorry, just quickly back to that. I was talking to the guys in the shop the other day about kind of experimenting with that because I find the presence really is kind of like your power amp top end, kind of like I guess in a general stance, like different amps it responds differently. But I usually find that when it's cranked, you'll get a lot more top end when the amp also is. And it kind of a good way to control that top end is to first kind of go to that as opposed to just gravitating to your treble control and thinking that that's where it's coming from, because this is what's like at a higher volume, allowing that top end to escape from your power section. Mm-hmm. So kind of taming that. And then like one thing I really like to do, like you mentioned, you had the presence at noon. I had it probably at like 3 usually. And I don't know if I need to do this for home, but just for live, I got so used to running it there just because like it just smooths it out, and it really allows me to be able to push the top end in the preamp without it getting too harsh at like a higher volume, especially with high gain tones. You don't hear it too much on the clean, but
yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, that's a trick that Interval Sound guy, he kind of just yelled at me because he was like, dude, there's way too much top end. What are you doing? And he came back and just like pulled the presence out, and I was like, oh, wow. That's how that works. Okay. Yeah. And then just started experimenting with it, and it was like, yeah, that's kind of a handy trick too.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
They kind of use that function of the amp, you know?
Yeah. And it's, once again, it's like, dial with your ears, not your eyes. It's whatever works. It's just take advantage of everything that's on there,
Absolutely. And try all of it and see what works.
Yeah.
Cool, man. So yeah, off the cuff, that's kind of what I would go for. Yeah. Like just a really warm clean. I mean, you can kind of get the breakup that you would get out of a broken up clean channel out of the second channel and still have it be fairly close to that. And I think that's kind of what Dan's philosophy was with this, is just to allow the channel to exist as what it's supposed to sound like. And like all the in-between stuff is just within the parameters of each channnel.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Cause channel 2 will get you the semi-broken, a clean thing. If that's what you want, it'll do it.
Totally. Let's Bo is here. What's up? This is Bo. I straight up thought it was called Peter Trout. No. Does 2 live streams, and he's like contaminated by our craziness already. That's awesome. So I guess let's move on to channel 2. As far did anyone have any questions kind of regarding the clean channel? Or anything you guys would like to hear specifically, like any tones? We got, a few different guitars if you want to hear that too. Amazing with a slight turn of a knob can change everything. Yeah, that's why we once that happens a few times, you just immediately are like a tinkerer for life, and you're just never happy because you're like moving it that much and thinking it's going to change something, and it sometimes does.
Yeah.
So that's why you do it. Yeah. Cool. All right. Yeah, I think we're good to go on green.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you got
Go for
rocking
green.
off? Just go for green. Go for green. I think we're doing go for gold. It's funny because we had the green G2 and then it was go for gold with the gold G2.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you got going off the cuff there? Just when you're dialing it up.
Yeah. I mean, that's usually what I use the green channel for.
Oh yeah.
Because it's just that slightly, so I don't have a drive mode on or anything. I've got the gain set at just, I'm going to turn the gain down a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I've got the gain at, less than noon. Because it's super open. But it'll clean up. But when I dig in, it's got like a feel to it. It's got like a sag to it that's really cool. And then if I still want to like hit it with a back humbucker, this humbucker's a little brighter, but it'll still bark like an old amp. It definitely has that sag. And I do have the bright switch on. I can shut the bright switch off, especially with that back humbucker. And that's definitely darker. And I can turn the treb up. Like I just turned the treb up to like almost what would be considered like 3 o'clock. Now that's just a different top end.
Right.
It's kind of a more kind of mid-centric top end. So that's where the bright switch comes in really handy, because I can turn the treble back down to about 9 o'clock, but then employ the bright switch. And I've got that more kind of like Marshall-y, like almost JCM top end, but it still feels like a JTM to me.
Mm-hmm. Totally. A little more like kind of just sizzle in the top.
Yeah. And then I tend to, I have the reverb, so it came on automatically with that channel, because that's still, for the most part, I do the, my whatever it is I do thing, with verb.
Yep. Nice.
What about you, Sammy? What you got?
I guess I kind of gravitate between two different, I think overall, if I had to have one channel on this amp, it would be the second channel. And I think it's mostly just because now that it does have the different drive modes in it, along with the bright switch, it can kind of verge on everything within itself. Like it doesn't get like metal like the high gain channels, but when it's pinned on the red aggression or the red drive mode, it certainly can get hairy. So there's kind of a lot. There's kind of a lot that I've recently used on this channel in many different ways. Like for anything from kind of what you're saying off the top. I kind of got this type of. I guess I got the verb on there too, but kind of like the split coil. And that's like my favorite tone on that channel for sure. It isn't, it definitely has a specific thing, but I got the blue drive, which I find like just has its own kind of voicing. Like to me, the blue, even on the other channels, is kind of what gives it that real tight kind of like the red aggression is certainly more saggy, and the blue is a little more tight and kind of compressed, which I really like for that specific type of split tone.
Yeah.
Barky. I just saw someone comment. It's exactly it. It has like lots of bark to it. That's a good word. So that's what I would go to for like that type of tone. Intervals uses that type of tone quite a bit. Oh, what I was gonna play there? Forgot. Whatever. That's some stupid chord. Anyways, that's the first thing. And then secondly, it does go from that to like, I don't even know what I would really call that. It's kind of just like a push single coil tone, I guess. I don't really know if that really reminds me of any specific amplifier, But as soon as you go to the humbucker, as you were saying, drive mode. And that thicker kind of drive is certainly verging on Marshall territory, which I have used for that type of stuff, with a Les Paul when you just want those big. And I think for that humbucker tone, like again with the blue, like it's really tight. But the red is what kind of gives it that sizzle, like you were talking about, for me at least, like that kind of Marshall-y, kind of sizzly type thing. And that's without the bright switch. This is with the bright switch here. So like, I know you generally wouldn't, on channel 2, but
it's still working though. That's the thing.
But it does, and you can hear the difference in the attack really with the bright switch. Like a lot of it does lie in the pick attack. So for me, the bright immediately is what gives it that split.
Yeah,
that type of thing.
Yeah,
that's one of my favorites. I saw Andy had asked. Freshies Media. I did play with intervals for a while there. What was I going to say? Andy had asked about using the gate on the amp with pedals on the first and second channel. And I will say that the gate on this amp, like I do use it on the second channel, and I know Shawn, you're like not a gate person really. For the type of tones that you're using, and especially like on this type of tone. But if you're going to listen, so this is without the gate on. Obviously, you can hear a bit more noise. And then as soon as you get the gate on, it does kill the noise. But quickly, I'll just play with the gate on and off, and you'll hear that there's really not any tonal loss, like even with a lower gain tone. This is with the gate off. And this is with the gate on. That's with the gate on for like a lower gain tone. I can even back it off a little bit. And it doesn't kill it at all. I don't think, you might know, I don't know if Dan's actually told me this, and I don't know offhand, so I don't think the gate is wired like off the input of the amp right away. I don't know where it actually is in the circuit. But you can very effectively use it with other pedals and amps and stuff like that, and lower gain sounds as well. Like it doesn't necessarily just choke everything like your classic metal gate where it just is super ultra tight. Like it's very good just in terms of reducing noise without sucking tone out as well. Yeah.
I mean, gates are great. I mean, I'll try and turn out a field hum before I'll use a gate. It's like I don't have anything against them necessarily, but I'm just so used to just turning out of it like in a session, or just incessantly always shutting my volume off if I'm not playing. But at the same time, there's guys that they want it that dead quiet. They don't want to hear a single coil hum. But then it goes all the way to guys that are gent players, where that's part of the thing is having. That's
the sound. It's just like super gated, like tight.
You can't not have a gate. So that's the thing. It's like,
finding a balance of those two things. And I think the gate on this amp really does do that. Like you can use it just as a general thing, like if you're experiencing some 60 cycle or whatever. It just, again, like this is I guess I'll put it on one of the single coils on the amp here. Oh, my volume pedal's down, that'll do it. So like that's the amount of hum I'm getting. I'm sure you can hear that just off of a single coil, and that's with the gate on.
Yeah, like, and you could probably go back there and even custom tailor it more in how it's done.
Yeah, there is a control in the back. Yeah, and that I think it's just flat, but like again, like with it on, like there's still a ton of dynamic range, which is really nice. Like I haven't really experienced that with another gate that I've tried.
Yeah.
What does Andy say here? So he says, sounds awesome, but what if I wanted to drop a high gain BEOD in front of the amp on a clean channel for a different player? Would the gate still work, or would I still want a gate on my board? I have a G3 here that I could throw on quick if you'd like to hear. I mean, we could.
I don't know why the gate wouldn't.
Yeah.
I don't know why it wouldn't. Yeah.
Let me quickly, I realized that I broke a patch cable today, so I had to take one pedal off my board, but I'm quickly just going to throw the G3 on here, and we can actually hear how it would handle that. Give me 1 sec here, Andy. So just listen to Shawn blow your minds in the meantime.
Whatever. I'm trying to see if there's anything I missed in the old chatster chat.
the old internet chat. Okay, so we have a G3. That's a G3 on a high gain channel, which I don't want. Okay, so let's just run to the back on the gate here. So that's adjusting the threshold on the back of the amp. I know it looks funny with me just hunching over there. But so Andy, what I'm doing right now is just running the G3 just in front into the clean channel, which is very loud. I will turn that down. So there is the threshold on the back of the amp here, and I'll just turn it and you'll hear the noise come in. So this is without the G3. So yeah, it's going to make a little bit of noise in front, but you can kind of just turn the threshold until that's gone. There you go. And then at that point, you can kind of see if it's going to kill your sustain at all and deal with the front of your board. Which to me, it's still. And that's the G3 end of the clean channel. And it's man. Pretty quiet, so cool.
Yep.
Cool. Hopefully that answered your question, Andy.
Yeah, because we also have to keep in mind, it's like right now, it's like, Sam, you're sitting right by the amp too. So if you were
and I'm also plugged in. I'm also plugged into the same outlet that the lights are plugged into.
Yay!
So we should be experiencing a lot of noise, and we are not. So if that says anything for how it works. Yeah, totally. It was fun. I've never actually really just tried that. It's fun just kind of sitting and being like, okay, is it going to do it? Like, let's see. It's fun just to have you guys ask questions that we can just mess around with. And sweet. Okay, man. Glad to hear that. Cool. Anything else about that channel that you want to get out?
What y'all want to hear?
Yeah, what you want to do? Anybody have any other things kind of green channel related that they want us to answer or exemplify, show an example of? We have all the pedals and stuff here. Like I know a couple people had asked about hearing the channels versus the pedals. If you want to hear any of that stuff. From what I've seen, this amp, I feel like this amp with a Strum and Big Sky timeline. Yeah, dude, that's what we're using right here. Or that's what I'm using. Is that the Cloud? Yeah, that's the one. It's like the big. That
sounds killer.
Yeah. How does the green channel save the planet? It's green. It's eco-friendly.
Yes.
It's good. It's more efficient. More efficient.
Dirty channel get. Did you see that one?
Yeah.
Alex,
go for it.
Did we do that one?
No.
Did we answer
that
one?
Out.
Okay,
no,
well, let's see. Okay, so right now, hang on a sec. Okay, so I've got the gain less than noon, no drive, right? So that's what I would consider like vintage gain. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn up the gain first. Okay, so we're still in, there's no drive on. Got the gain almost all the way up. And to me, that's like Marshall kind of JCM. But if I need more, now I can employ. Sorry, guys, I keep hitting the mic. The blue drive mode. So that's more gain. It's a little bit tighter in the way that it feels. Then if I need more, I've still got the red mode. So it gets pretty gritty. And the only thing to keep in mind with this type of channel, and it's the thing I noticed right away with it is, it is a lot like a Marshall in that you want to roll bass or low end out as you crank gain, which is very characteristic of more of kind of a Marshall-y type circuit. So that's what I was doing. As I was cranking the gain, I was turning down the bass just a bit and then cranking the treble just a smidge so it wouldn't get dark or kind of woofy.
Totally.
But that's about, I mean, beyond that, you could hit it with another kind of push box, but then you got channel 3 and channel 4 with all of that going on.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
would
give you
say
that capability.
Yeah, I would say you can get quite a bit of grind out of it. I mean, I've used it on the demos that I've done for Rev, just covering different artists and bands and stuff, and I haven't had any trouble really getting pretty much what I need out of it, grind-wise.
As I was saying, like if I had to pick a single channel on this amp to have to kind of do everything, it likely would be that channel for the reason that it can go from, like, well, that's a lot of reverb. I'm going to turn that off real quick. This type of thing to real fast, and that's same thing. That's with the red, with the gain pin, with the bright, like I can get like almost like kind of like a nice punk rock tone too, actually. Yeah, no, I can definitely get there. Hey Rex, how's it going, dude? What are you using for a 2-notes cab on that? I'm just using the stock 412 on here right now.
On mine? Yeah, just the one that the 4x12 Royer 57 combo. Yeah, just a stock position one. That's pretty much my go-to cab unless I'm looking for something just specific. That's kind of my neutral cab. It just kind of works for everything. Super, super easy to use. Yeah,
I feel like that's what I've used for pretty much all of the stuff we've done in-house here. Just plug it in. Usually try a few different things, and it's like, that's great.
Circle right back around, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
L. Scott Music, how does the clean channel take a boost pedal? Sorry, I quickly was hunching over there and just rigging the G2 up again just so you could hear that. The clean is very clean, and I find even when you put it on the 10-watt mode, it stays very clean. So I feel in that regard, it responds pretty truly to whatever pedal you're putting in it. If you're wanting a boosted tone, it will boost it. If you're wanting a high gain tone, it will go high gain. Like it's not like it's a very true clean channel, so you're not going to run into too many gain structuring issues, provided like what the pieces you're putting into it are actually doing. So like with the G2, actually I'm on channel 2. So that's with the G2 just literally turned on with everything at noon. No aggression. So clean channel. And the G2. And then that versus the actual channel 2 here. It's actually like it definitely is different, but it's pretty close. Like I feel like the power section of the amp kind of responds the same way to both things. So
yeah, I would say that the clean channel, it's a very efficient clean channel. So if you're going to hit it as it'll be okay with mid gain and lower gain boxes, but you just have to dial accordingly because it won't have as much give because it is really, really efficient. But it sounds great.
Clean boost driving the front end.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it's doing there. Yeah.
Yep.
And then, so that would be like channel 2 with the G2 kind of driving the front end. And then, like, I think we're both pretty big fans of, like, even with a higher gain tone, just kind of like adding smaller gain pieces into a bigger high gain tone. And it kind of like sculpts out all the different frequency ranges and fills it out a little bit more.
Right.
So yeah, that was sorry, L. Scott Music there. That's sorry if that's a little more what you're thinking. That would be kind kind of boosting the front end. I also just saw you comment too saying, what a day where someone says a nice punk rock tone. Back in the day, it was where you just cranked it up and just made a bunch of noise. It's like, now you do that, but you tame it and you mix it and you make it very balanced. And it's,
Yeah.
punk rock is dead.
Add an LA to it and smooth it out, really glue things together.
Yeah, exactly. That's not rock and roll. Kids these days.
All darn kids.
Yeah. Cool. Sweet, man. Yeah. Well, I guess we stayed on that for a bit, but I think it's just as we said that there's a lot that got packed into that channel on this amp. So
yeah, absolutely.
For sure. Cool. All right. I guess it's time to go to Drive Town.
Yeah, you do. You're better at that stuff, Sam.
And we scream bad words.
Show them how it's done.
now people get offended by bad words. That's funny. So I am quickly going to switch to a not Strat. Just not that I don't like using that on this high gain channel, but I feel like to really go for like the heavier kind of tones, I might grab the what do we got that's actually set up here?
Yeah, it's funny. I thought I saw a comment. I forget who it was from. It was pretty funny. It's like, and suddenly 2 white Strats appeared.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like,
and then everything was how it used to be. Yeah, exactly. Except they'd be like white Esquires with one single coil pickup in the bridge.
Right, and Floyd.
Yeah, exactly. And we, quickly just gonna tune this guy up here. So yeah, channel 3. It's funny because that's always been my go-to for a high gain tone. Like pretty much right off the bat. Like if I'm showing someone one of our amps and want to show a high gain tone, like channel 3 is pretty much just like instant gratification as far as that goes. Especially with kind of like some of the more modern metal stuff. Like it's very mix ready. It's very hi-fi. It's kind of very compressed. And I guess to me, like, you know, channel 3 versus 4, as many times as we've you know kind of shown examples of it, is still a very commonly asked question, and I think to me that's the biggest difference. One is much more kind of modern hi-fi mix ready modern, whereas channel 4 still has as much kind of aggression and headroom and all that, but it's definitely much more of a saggy traditional voicing in the low end. So 3 for me is my go-to for more of like, I was just doing some recording with another project and right away I went to plug in and automatically went to channel 3 because that's just always what I've done. It's like, you know, channel 3 is the high gain tone that I like, boom. And I was like, I don't know if this might not suit the part, and then started messing around with channel 4, and I kind of realized that 3 is my go-to for sure for like a modern high gain tone, kind of metally tone, but if I'm looking for more Marshall-y things or like more kind of classic tones, channel 4 might be more what I'm looking for in that regard. So for 3, we're gonna get heavy. And these pickups are pretty hot too. But I generally like the gain below noon. Like to me, the voicing of the amp is quite aggressive, and that is what sounds heavy. Like I don't think gain necessarily translates to more heaviness. So generally, I'm running the gain below noon with channel 3 because I like it for the modern high gain kind of stuff. I do like the blue aggression because it's very tight. This is with the normal aggression here. This is blue. And this is red. And same thing here. I like the bright switch on, mostly just for the voicing. I've actually got the treble. This is a bit of an oxymoron. The treble is actually rolled back, but the bright switch is on. Which, again, I think comes down to that voicing type thing. Like, it gives me a little bit more top end, but I just kind of like how the attack is. So I pretty much will always keep this on and then just balance the treble to where I like according to having that on, just because it's, the voicing. And the cut switch actually is something that I recently was turned on to enjoying. I've always been someone who's very much been like mids are the way to go. But yeah, it has like a nice... Even as you go, you know, I prefer the gain very low, but for guys who prefer kind of the higher gain stuff, Make a bunch of noise. Let's do that. But yeah, that's kind of my like channel 3 when I want that type of just really nice, super tight, like articulate. Like that's just dead notes. But with the gate, like that's stupid tight. Like
that is gratifying. I'm seeing Andy. He's saying, gent along, Shawn. You know you want to. It's like, it's like
play,
no way gonna happen.
play one note real hard. That's basically it. You can't gent with reverb, dude.
Gent with.
There's too much room. It's not tight.
That's about all you're gonna get out of me. I can't.
There you go. Yeah, that's close enough, man. But it's
Daddy
funny because like
play that stuff.
You were talking about doing like some Motley Crue riffs though, like with the Purple Channel, which is totally like the opposite way that I go with it. Like,
oh really?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean I get it because it has that. Like it's super tight, but I always would just go. I guess it was that thing where it's like, I was certain I was going to use the Purple Channel, and I ended up going red, and then like for that, I would almost certainly go to the red channel. But you're saying you found the purple worked for that. Like how are you using that?
It's really kind of weird because like right now, it's like I like it to be kind of brighter. Like this is definitely brighter, and I just kind of dial accordingly. Like you know what I'm going to do. Like right now, I don't have any of the bright, nothing's on, but I am in the blue.
Oh, hell yeah. That's such a huge riff.
I tend to use that channel more for that type of thing.
Yeah.
Because I just like how it feels. I tend to like to take solos on channel 4. But rhythm stuff... well, I take that back because I think I did the Randy Rhoads thing. I think I did that on channel 4.
I think the Flying High Again.
Yeah,
I think,
I think I did it on channel. Now I can't even remember. I'm old and I forget things.
I don't know. It might have been 3, man.
It sounds good on 3. Maybe it was 3.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it has that bitiness for sure. That now that you're showing it dialed that way, it's like, oh yeah, totally. Yeah, you can use that mid character to get that.
Yeah, like that's with the cut switch and the bright switch on now. God, see, I don't remember.
That sounds great for that type of thing though. Like, yeah, it's like, it's weird. It's like a scooped mid, but it's real prominent.
Yeah,
like,
but it's still really tight.
One of those tones that doesn't make sense, but does.
But it's so gratifying. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, no, that's 100% it. Yeah,
I should have stretched these strings in. But anyways, I mean, I can't do that fancy stuff that Sam does. But generally, I just that's what I like to do with that channel. And then if I do solo. And that's dialed brighter, but I tend to dial for in a track,
Totally.
So,
just the way it blends.
So to each his own, yeah.
A wild Robert Baker has entered the thread.
Nerd Baker.
What's up, dude? How's it going? How's it going, Rob? We're not playing enough dad rock licks for you. It's all good. Good to see you, man. Thanks.
How's that? Better, Rob?
That's enough. It's the intake. Pentatonic. Yeah, literally just like... Oh, I'm in drop D. Shit. There we go.
See what happens?
There's a reason it's called standard tuning.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Oh, I love seeing friends pop in here. That's awesome. Yeah. So yeah, green, purple. Yeah, it's funny. Like you're just different players using it different ways because like I'm much more of someone from the more recent field of like modern guitar players. So you would swear that I would just go to the purple channel for everything, but it's just cool how everyone really just hears it and approaches it differently, and it totally sounds different. Like that's what's fun about all this.
Yeah, well,
Rob needs
like
to be
I always say,
yeah.
the amp is so dialable. It'll do what you want it to. You just have to know how to dial it.
It'll do the do.
It'll do the do.
Do the do. Mountain Dew. I haven't had Mountain Dew in like 10 years.
Oh gosh, yeah. You make
Gotta-
that stuff will make you poop Tupperware. That's all I'm saying about that.
It's fucking like toxic sludge.
Is that a bowl? What just happened?
Just have like Mountain Dew Tupperware parties. You just got a bunch of dudes just. And fun.
That's the next
why.
live stream.
That's why we're here, guys. Do you want a great business idea?
Yeah.
Mountain Dew Tupperware parties.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dial in some gimme 3 steps. What does that mean, Sean? You know more than I do.
3 steps, give me 3 steps. That you'd have to do that, but I don't even know that song. But if you were gonna do it, that would be Channel 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, God, I can't even remember how it goes. I know the chorus, but yeah, you would dial that in on Channel 2. Whoops. Yeah, with a bunch of reverb and delay, because that's what they did back in the day.
Yeah. Tons of verb, tons of verb.
Yeah, I would do that Channel 2 for sure.
So just switching back
maybe
to
I should do
something
that
else
song.
here.
I need to learn that song. and
There
do
you go.
that
Yeah, we're getting some
next-
ideas here.
in the
There
next
you go.
Wing Dinger.
Yeah, hey, if there's also, in all seriousness too, if there's any songs that you guys want to hear us, like Sean's doing his weekly videos, like the Rev Time videos. I know you're gonna do like something else this week too, but like we're always into like if you guys want to hear a certain sound or if you want to hear a certain song or anything, please throw it in the comments, and we're always looking through that stuff for ideas and songs that we can do. You know,
Yeah.
how do you approach getting the intervals type tone you and Aaron used? Which channel? I'm assuming you mean the split coil thing because I think that's the tone that people affiliate with that. I'll quickly just, if you don't mind, Sean, I'll quickly just show them with that.
Yeah, man, go for it.
Basically, I like with this amp, and I know like Aaron actually has a 120. We built Aaron a 120, and he loves it. But for that type of tone, basically you'll want just a compressor in front, and I find using the blue drive is a little bit tighter, and the bright switch kind of gives you that kind of clackiness that you like in the top end. I'm using channel 2. Some sort of single coil split is helpful. I find an HSS or like an SSS is better because you can do the, as Sean says, the caught positions. Like position 2 for that type of tone with either an SS or an HSS is pretty much what you're going to want. Having like the middle single closer to the bridge is really what gives it that kind of like sparkly top end. Ah, that was bad. That happens sometimes, eh, Frick? Anyways.
That was awesome. I was like,
It's like, whoa, that was a cool chord suite.
where you going, man? Where you going?
Dude, it's and now you just call it prog and you're good to go. Anyways, yeah, that's kind of how I would go for that. Short answer. Yeah. Will the MK4 have the brutes? Oh, it's Joseph. Hey, dude, what's up? It's still not a metal amp, dude. Joseph comes to every stream and asks when we're gonna actually make a metal amp. So yeah, never. That's not metal. So it's funny, Freshies Media, that tone actually is a Dynamis 740. I don't think a lot of people actually know that. The I'm Awake tone, like the shape of color, actually is a Rev Dynamis 740 for that tone. So that's the tone. I didn't mess up. I'm playing jazz. Exactly.
one half step away from the right note or chord. So
exactly. You just have to move in one direction.
Mm-hmm.
Either way.
you just commit.
Sean, how about a Gary Moore style tone? What do you use for that?
God dang it, man! Stop doing that. Excuse my language. I keep hitting the mic with my headphones.
Dang, it is such a swear, dude.
Gary Morton. Let me see.
Number 1, be Gary Moore.
That helps. Hang on.
There you go.
Hang on a second.
Hang on, let me make it even better.
Hang on. Gary Moore is so good. I mean, that was like
Man.
maybe a swing and a miss, but yeah,
You
I was
just got
doing that with Channel 4.
you literally got 2 likes at the same time in the span of that bend. Just do more of those. For every bend, you guys got to smash the like button.
Yeah, well, Daddy just pulled his groin, so
His finger groin. Dude, yeah, nailed it.
That's another one. Maybe I should cover like a Gary Moore thing. But God, that guy.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, Gary Moore.
Killer player.
Yes.
Yeah, killer player.
Yeah, that was red channel, no aggression mode, bright switch. The fat switch was on.
Yeah, I guess we're on the red channel now, eh?
Yeah, I bumped to the red channel. Sorry, I jumped the gun there.
No, I think that's what we were going to get to next anyway. So how is that generally what you kind of go to for that type of lead tone?
Yeah, I mean, if I get, if I do a solo on anything where they want like a kind of a higher gain, not necessarily modern, but if they want like a higher gain thing, I always, channel 4, because it's the tone's there. It's a bit kind of softer, kind of high mid than channel 3, but it just feels great. And the cut switch is everything, at least for me, because that's fine. Here's without the cut switch. It's bigger, but now I don't have that mid presence.
Yeah.
So with the cut switch, it just brings out those mids without having to really touch anything. And then I'm basically just dialing treb up and down, changing top end characteristics. But yeah, that's my go-to channel
For leads.
Especially for solos.
Yeah.
It sounds great for neck position. But then I can go to back position.
That's weird.
So yeah, it just responds well. It doesn't argue with me. I hate it when I throw back to the back position and feel like I got to reach over there and change something. So
Totally.
That channel's been great.
The balance of being able to go from to like a dynamically switching between the two, like it still is in the same realm, which is cool.
Yeah, well, and the problem is too with some, and I'm not dogging high gain amps. High gain amps are they're awesome. All these amplifiers they're killer. But the one thing that I appreciate on a higher gain amp is if I do throw pickups back and forth, that it's fairly obvious. Sometimes there's so much gain on an amp that I'll see guys throw the pickups back and forth. It's like I'm not actually hearing a different guitar, and I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing, but it's just something that catches me. It's like I feel like with this amp on that channel. If I switch guitars, I don't feel like it didn't sound, all of a sudden it really doesn't sound much different. It just sounds like the amp,
Right. Yeah, it's very true.
And like I said, switching between pickups. I mean, that is definitely a neck position. And that is definitely a bridge position.
It's very definitive.
Yeah.
I got to agree with Rob here. It's like he says, I like how Shawn just blows your mind and then goes back to being a nerd. It's like, dude, it's what you do. That's why he's like that. That's awesome. Dude, killer playing, man. That's awesome. I love doing this and hearing you play, dude. It's so good.
You're so sweet.
Dude, no, it's a treat. Absolute treat. I agree though. Like 4, in spite of me saying I was very much a 3 guy before, 4 has always been my lead channel, and it just has that chewiness, like as we were talking about before. very crisp and clear, but like round. You know?
Yeah, and there is just a forgiveness to the feel though. That's a big thing for me too. It's like sometimes I don't want that, but in that type of tone with that type of channel, I want a little bit of that kind of vintage kind of sag to it, and
totally.
It definitely does it. But like just for giggles, like I just switched to this guitar. It's such a Telecaster, and
oh yeah, right away.
It's like I didn't change anything on the amp, and like this is a completely different, and that's what I'm talking about.
Like totally different animal right away.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna grab something too here. Dude, that sounds so good. Like
immediate. I changed 0 on the amp, and matter of fact, hey man, let's do it again. What you got, Sam? You switch guitars, and then I'll switch guitars.
Let's switch guitars. Let's do all the guitars. It's funny though, because like that Telly is just so much more raw sounding. Yeah. Like I was just talking about the Strat having a very raw sound, and the Telly right away is just like ballsy, like super like. Yeah. And you didn't change anything on the amp. This is with a Tremonti now, which is like basically a Les Paul, but. My attempt to be you, I can't do that.
No, you know.
Except it's all this pentatonic bullshit.
Well, that's all I do. But like this is like Filtertron in the back now. Filtertron guitar, you know.
Here we go. Okay, I know what I'm grabbing. Hold on. Derek just got some. I mean, I know what I'm getting now. If this is where we're going with this, dude, let's go. Let's grab some guitars. Yeah, just gonna send it. That's 16 feet for free, bud. So I got the the right angle jack into the Strats. I don't laugh, but Derek got this thing.
Oh, dude.
Like the Eddie. It's an EVH, so it feels a lot like a Charvel, I would say. Like it's made by EVH in Mexico, so it's basically a Charvel, but obviously you did the squeals there, so I had to pull this out. So let's see. I don't even know if it's in tune or anything. Does it do it? But it's got like it doesn't go up at all, right? You can only dive bomb.
Right.
I know the first 2 lines. That's it.
Something like that.
Oh yeah, something like that. No big. Yeah.
But yeah, but like I just switched to a Strat.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. It's not arguing with this either.
Yeah. But I see what you mean. Like with this guitar intentionally sounds super, super raw. Like.
Hey, Sammy, I'm about to lose my camera battery. I'll be right back. I got to put a battery in that dang thing.
Sounds good. Yeah, Sean's going to battery up. I'm going to mess around with the Van Halen guitar. This feels like 8s or something. Like the strings are so light. Sounds great though. Vegatron solved that problem by throwing him. Dude, it sounds like I was just saying. I feel like there's like 8s on this. Like it's just so slinky.
Yeah, 10 and a half step down. Yeah, see that's sick. But honestly, that's the beauty of, at least for me, it's one of the things I really dig about that channel is.
I think Sean's back, Alex. Sorry on the camera. We're just gonna get you back on screen. Sorry, man.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
But it's just kind of that, the K channel. It's like, hey, can I do this? And the amp's like, Okay. What if I plug this guitar in? Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like he
sure.
just doesn't
I'll
argue.
do,
Yeah.
I'll,
It's just
I'll, I'll do that.
it's like, okay. Okay.
How far can you bend on that bad boy? Nice comment, Alex. I saw, sorry, quickly someone comment, and this might be something that you can offer insight on that's more valuable than mine, Sean. But someone just asked kind of how do you keep your hand relaxed when you're playing those quicker runs? Like I know that's more of a technique thing, but
That's
like it becomes very unconscious, and I know that's kind of like a
Yeah.
shitty answer, but like ultimately I think just really paying attention to
Yeah.
my whole philosophy with picking in general is as little distance as you can move is good. Like you're just going to create less noise. Your less movement means more accuracy. Another thing I really like for those types of runs, and like everybody picks differently, but I this may be just a really simple, stupid thing that everybody does, but I shouldn't like told a couple of people this and they don't. But like having something to kind of anchor your hand on. Like I see a lot of guys pick with their wrist not really being anchored on anything, and you're picking more with like your whole forearm, and immediately that's so much more weight that your arm has to support. I think kind of having something that you can kind of like when I'm picking like that at least. Like I'm not palm muting, but I'm resting my hand on the bridge, and I think it's more or less just because it allows me to literally put less effort into picking. You know, like
Yeah, I think it is. That's kind of part of it. I'll be honest with you, man. That's something that's a really, really. That's probably one of my biggest struggles as I've gotten older as a guitar player. I just don't have the hands I used to have, and I think. Because even now I can't really do what I used to be able to do. But I think the big part of it is, you just have to stay relaxed. I do a lot of, I used to sit and do patterns. They're not even patterns, but I would do like a. And I would sit and do that over and over and over, but once I could play the pattern, I was more focused on, am I still relaxed?
yeah,
And if I started tensing up, then I would stop and become aware of that, and reset, and I still, and my nerves get the best of me anyways. Like
you
in
kind
these
of
type
just
of
embed it.
situations.
Yeah, exactly, and it becomes very unconscious, and that's kind of what I was saying. It's like as much of that is like a cheat answer. It's like I don't really think about it, to be honest. It's just kind of become embedded in how you play. See, Freshies Media being told anchoring was wrong. Like I'm not talking like anchoring, like holding your fingers to like keep your hand going. But even then, I would never say that anything is really wrong. Like it's just a matter
that's the
of
thing.
what
There's
works.
nothing wrong because I've some of my favorite players are gypsy jazz players, and they can just literally bury other guitar players in technique, and they don't anchor anywhere. It's like they play bow wristed, and they don't anchor anywhere. And a lot of really great bluegrass players, they don't anchor at all. But then I've seen gypsy jazz cats that anchor a pinky. I've seen insane electric guitar players that anchor with a pinky or something like that. There's a part of me, because that's how I grew up. The few teachers I was around, they were like, don't have your hands. You can anchor, but don't have your fingers anywhere on the guitar. And there's a part of me that wish I would have just ignored them and just did my thing, But at the end of the day, that's the thing. It's like there is no wrong way to do it. It's just
No.
you kind of fall into a groove, and the main thing is just you got to try things, and then when you settle into something, just once again be very present in your playing. The second you feel like you're like stiffening up, it's like you have to just stop, reset, become mentally aware, and then dig back in, because otherwise it's frustrating.
It's kind of being conscious of those things, exactly, and kind of noticing where you're running into a roadblock with it, and kind of pinpointing, okay, so how do I kind of embed that so that it's not a conscious thing, because you don't want to be thinking about that while you're trying to play something else. It really just comes down to, as you're saying, the rudimentary kind of practice.
And then it becomes muscle memory, and then every once in a while things get crazy, and that's when I said, you just become aware. It's like, oh, wait a second, why am I playing tense? I'm just going to fix this right now, and then back into muscle memory,
Yeah, and again too with anchoring, like I wasn't necessarily fully alluding to like making sure that your wrist is supported at all times.
No.
But like I guess it just comes down to the principle, like if you're supporting less weight, if you're playing more with your wrist and less with your arm, you're just going to have an easier time with accuracy because you're supporting much less, and you can just pick. What does Derek say? But can you play Nirvana like Robert Baker?
Hell no.
No.
No way.
Yeah.
You can't play anything like Robert Baker.
We got to get Rob on here to do a Nirvana cover fest on the Rev live
God.
stream with Rob Baker.
That would be awesome. he would kill it.
Absolutely. Wonder how black metal players tremolo pick for like hours straight live. Sounds like a great recipe for a recipe. Yeah, man. You got to be relaxed. Like if you're really squeezing hard, like you're gonna burn out. Or like Meshuggah, like they got that one song like Bleed, where it's literally for like 9 minutes. Yeah, it's literally that, and it changes. So it's like the first pattern is, and then it goes. Right, so like they do like different kind of permutations of that type of thing for like literally 10 minutes, and the drummer's like Thomas Hack is double kicking all of it, and he's doing heel toe and stuff, and it's like they just look like they're chilling. Like it doesn't look like they're trying at all.
See, I don't know how those cats do that. To be able to play with that kind of aggression and that tight and that focused for that length of time.
It's like, robotic, man. Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
But they look extremely relaxed doing it. And that kind of answers that question. It's like, man, if they were like really stressing out, like really laying into that, there's no way you could do a set of that. Like you just got to relax. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Better to use a drill with a piece of tape on the bit. Paul Gilbert already did that. Yeah. Do I practice with a metronome? Not enough. I don't know. Do you?
Yeah. No.
Really anymore. Did you?
No. But I'm not against it at all.
Yeah.
I guess, and I probably should practice with a metronome. Maybe I should, but just I was doing sessions early on, so my focus was how am I playing in the pocket with this particular drummer at this particular time. So I think with a metronome it is great because it helps you develop your internal clock, but I'm still a lot more focused on being in the pocket in the moment, especially with the drummer that I happen to be playing with. So if I'm on a session, I notice a lot of players, they want a bunch of kick and snare, and usually I'll have snare that kicks a little bit lower, and I'll have anything syncopated, ride cymbals and hi-hats, actually pretty cranked and panned, because that's where the drummer sits, that's his pocket. And unless the producer is saying, hey, I don't want you in that pocket, I want you playing the energy a little bit in front of the bean or with a little more energy, then I'll do that. But I think because I did so much of that, I wasn't as metronome focused. But I will say, guys that come up with like a riff, you think, oh, that sounds great, and then you got to do it in time. 2, 3, 4. And that'll screw you up. Not so much that you're not keeping time, but all of a sudden you have to phrase. You can't just play the whole line, because where does it drop and where did it start?
You have to hit the.
Yeah, so I would say if you are playing with a metronome, what I would do, honestly, I don't know nothing about this stuff. I'm just keeping it real. But
it's technology, bro. Just play music.
But what I would do is I would do metronomes with some sort of downbeat and maybe like a backbeat of some sort. Yeah. So when you're working up like a line, like for me, if I'm not thinking that way, I'll just sit and it's like, who cares? But the second you got to keep time. Or maybe even try and, that's another practice thing that I do, is I try to just come up with like a riff and try to keep that in my head as I'm just blowing lines. And once again, it helps you to be more focused on melodicism and phrasing and not just playing a rudimentary, just
ripping up and down.
Yeah, because it's like you can do that. That's just muscle memory. But when you have to like emote something, a metronome will, it's a good kick in the nuts right away.
It makes you realize where you have to do that.
Yeah, because like I said, take that amazing line you were just digging, and start it, and start it an eighth note away, or a 16th note away from the downbeat, And yeah, it's a rude awakening. You just gotta send it, bud.
It's still gonna send it.
Just gonna send it. Love it, right.
He's the best, dude. It's funny. Larry Enticer.
Larry Enticer. Yeah.
Larry Enticer. I wanted to make a new band just called Enticer and just make it like shitty thrash riffs, and we all have mullets and wear denim. Yeah, Enticer. Let's do it. Yeah, man. No, it's. I guess it's kind of like that same thing where it's like, we were in here the other day trying to track something and played it like 10 times great. As soon as the click's on, and I have to like actually vibe it out. It's like, oh no, this is vastly different. Like it's. Yeah. You have to actually put that in place now. That's very different.
Yeah. So that's my spin. It's like I don't know that you should just sit with a metronome day in and day out, but at the same time, yeah, it's important to nuance all of that stuff in, for sure. Yeah. Did you see this one? Has Rev or Dan
the fuzz
ever been interested in creating a fuzz pedal?
I don't know. I know that in the old amp, Dan put some kind of like, I don't know if he did this. He told me on my amp, like you can get it to fuzz out on the, I have like a Mark 1 on the red channel. You can get it to do that, but I don't think he like has consciously ever thought about making a fuzz pedal. That's, again, not to say that nothing will ever exist, but fuzz, like, I don't know, there's so many fuzz pedals, man. And like, there's so many boutique fuzz pedals. I think with Rev's ideology, if we want to do something, we can make sure that we can make it unique. So if Dan came across something within a fuzz that he could do that with, cool. I don't think there's been any imminent thought put into it yet.
Yep.
Don't be silly. They just send it.
Just send it. Now that we have drum VSTs, yes, absolutely. Because it's a field thing. Yep.
Yeah, playing over looped beats is certainly a good way to practice. Backing tracks, like
just make sure you vary all the tracks though, because if you play to the same like drummer pocket over and over and over, and then all of a sudden you play with a drummer that's tighter, you're going to be in for it.
It's just one of those things again where it's like, practicing with a drummer, practicing with a drum machine, practicing with a metronome. They're all valuable in different ways, and they'll all serve you in different situations. And I think the biggest thing that you can learn from all of those is knowing how to analyze each of those situations individually.
Yep.
That's kind of what it comes down to. In many regards, same thing can be said for tone.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, because I was just thinking, it's like I just been using same thing. Like I'm still on that same channel, man, and all I did was roll the volume down. But still, I can still like crank it.
Dude, this is like the most I've seen you shred on this stream. This is great. I love it. I like how you're like, no, I don't do that. And just dust everybody.
I only do this. I can't do anything else.
Oh no, dude, it's fun, man. It's fun. It's fun getting going like that. Cool. Well, we're getting there. If there's anything that anyone wants, if you want to yell at us to play anything or tell us to do stuff, now's the time. If anyone has any questions or if they want to hear anything else before we get going, let us know now and we'll do it for you. Whoa, that's a reverse delay. Want to hear a reverse delay? Wait. There it goes. Oh, it's really long decay on that. I was doing what is that, the reverse thing? Just like weird reverse delay shit on the Strymon. Yeah, I hit a wrong note though, and now I have to listen to it for 30 seconds. Delayed show.
Was that Robert? Whose tone that you've done a video was you? Probably Neil.
Yeah. Dude, the Elliot Easton one was great.
Probably, yeah. That was a fun one.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked the last one you did, and Elliot Easton actually shared it, which is crazy.
Oh, I know. I'm still freaking out about that. Elliot Easton, like, I thought
that's
if
huge,
anything,
man.
he would just come find me and be like, bro,
you did it wrong.
Don't ever do that again. But yeah, that was really sweet that and yeah, he's another one of those cats that's just
Yeah.
crazy melodic.
Crazy good.
But yeah, I kind of grew up on the Neil Sean thing, so
Yep.
that's where I kind
That
of
one.
stole a lot of like the blues feel, because it's not really blues, it's like blues rock.
Yeah.
When I learned that,
That sounds so good.
just that, I remember when I heard that as a kid, I was like, and for him, it's
You're
probably
like,
just
shit,
like
that's
B.B.
cool.
King.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought,
Yeah.
man, I gotta get some of that.
Absolutely.
that sound.
Andy, I'll grab a shitty guitar in a second. We can do that. Sorry. Freshies Media is asking for the hybrid picking section from an interval song. I don't know if I remember how to play it or not. Let's see. So just so you know, it's not hybrid picked. Aaron actually picks it. I think it's that. So it's basically like a 1-9-13 type thing, I think. Or 12. But basically the riff, because it's in E major and you can use the open E and the open B, it's like you're kind of going between that. So it's playing it poorly. I don't play that. Aaron actually plays that too, but that's what it is, I think. I think that's it.
Dang.
Yeah.
That made
Fun riff.
my head. That makes my head hurt. Trying to like figure out.
I don't have to play that. My part during that's the lead part. My part is literally like.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's funny you said that. I started playing that and I was hybrid picking it too, and Aaron was like, "Nah, dude, it's picked." I was like, "Oh shit, okay,
Yeah.
there you go."
Dang. Yeah, that's haunting.
It's a fun one. Sorry, okay, what's a shitty guitar that we have here? Robbie wants to hear a shitty guitar plugged into the 120. I'll grab. Oh man, give me a sec. I'll see if we got. I don't know if there are too many shitty ones. We might have that Kramer kicking around. Let's see if I can find something here.
I have. Well, no, I don't. I have some.
The DeLong.
what
Yeah,
I
we got the
call
Kramer.
funky guitars, but they're
No
very-
guitars are
they're very
shitty.
purposes.
They all have a purpose.
They all got a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we got this the Kramer. The Kramer here. Oh,
Plug the-
never mind.
plug the
The Kramer has a
Kramer into
broken
it.
the Kramer has a broken string and it has I think a Kaler on it. No, it's a Flood. That's not going to happen. We have a Tom DeLong Strat. We can grab the Tom DeLong Strat. Let's see here. Oh, let's see if this goes.
I got Derek's crappy ass R9 back here. I could plug that in.
Yeah. Sure. Let's end it off with that. Kramer, one of the Ibanez. Yeah, no, we got the Tom DeLong here. Let's do it. I will say, when I worked in a music store, I had a lot of people ask, like, should I get a better guitar or a better amp? And it's like, well, obviously you want your guitar to play good, but and you know, every player has their own character that they can shine through pretty much anything too. But you know, I could put in some guitar I found at a garage sale into a 120 and it would probably still sound pretty good. Whereas if I plugged like a Sur into like a little tin can, it probably would still sound like a tin can. You know, like I think having a good amp is pretty crucial. So this is the Tom DeLong Strat. Which I think has a Duncan in it, so that's kind of cheating, but I don't know any Blink-182 riffs actually. How bad is that? I grew up in like the early 2000s playing guitar, and I don't know any friggin' Blink riffs. Sum 41, I know.
I know
yeah.
zero. Yeah.
But yeah, there you go. I mean, I would say like, yeah, if you put a crappy guitar through a decent amp, it'll probably still sound pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
What do you got there? Oh, you got the Tyler. That's not crappy.
No. Nope.
Yeah.
She's a good one.
She's a good one.
Trees are good.
That was my hope and assumption. Thanks for trying. No problem. Yeah, we just need more crappy guitars here. Derek, the Ibanez needs, like, I actually picked up that white RG earlier, and it needs some new strings and some love on there for sure, or else I would have grabbed that. So that'll be my project. Cool. All right. Well, I think we're getting there for sure. Anything else you want to throw in there, Shawn?
No, I don't think so. It kind of covered the channels, unless anybody else has a.
Yeah, this is fun, man. I like doing these. Time kind of gets away. I'm looking now. It's like, shit, we've been at this for like an hour and a half. Time kind of gets away when you're just hanging out and having fun, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, well, I'm always down for just talking about sometimes just guitar stuff, you know, like just, you know, questions about just dialing in tones and especially the technique and things, just the mindset behind guitar is really interesting. I always dig hearing people's perspectives on, you know, what they do, what's your mindset, what's your approach, and what's, you know, just where are you mentally, stuff like that still fascinates me. As much as I love guitar, sometimes I'd rather just
talk about the mentality behind it and kind of why you approach it the way you do.
Right.
Sorry, I hopped off screen because I saw Derek comment something.
Was it
I don't know.
Get out of the studio?
No, he said get the sticker guitar.
Oh.
So we're gonna end it off on this note. This is the sticker guitar. It's a Dan Electro. I've never once held this. This has wooden saddles on it. This is unreal.
Nice.
It's got a POD sticker. It's got the Project 86 sticker. It's got a whole bunch of stuff. Bailey's Car. Isn't that Derek's old band with Brent McRae? Or is he
Brent's old band?
Brent's old band? That's awesome. Got some. Oh, dude, this is gonna be great. Okay, hold on. Okay, so it is tuning. That's good.
Acoustically, it sounds great.
It actually does. I'm surprised.
It sounds really bright.
I think it's one of those Dan Electros that's like kind of hollow on the inside.
Yeah, even with all the tape all over it, it still rings, you know. Wow.
All right, let's see. I can't guarantee that this isn't going to completely annihilate your ears. It works. It sounds good.
Fine, man. That's awesome.
To the nail sticker on the bottom. There you go, Andy. So this thing literally like is probably about my age and has several POD stickers. So there you go. It sounds actually pretty good. Cool.
Sounds fun. That's awesome.
That's awesome. Thanks, Derek. I had fun doing this. Cool. All right, guys. I guess I'd end it off, Shawn. Yeah, I will agree. It's really nice just to kind of talk about, you know, we get caught up in doing all of this, you know, doing session work or doing the videos and stuff and all that, and don't really ever get to take a second and sit back and just really reflect on this type of stuff and what has led us to just approach things those ways. And it's really fun to discuss this with you, man. So thanks for doing this again.
Absolutely. No, it's always a pleasure, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And all these guys are great. Yeah, and Jack's right. Take care of your hands. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, so Jack's one of my students, and he actually just had some issues with tendonitis and had to take a little break. And he's like, he likes to play, that kid. So it's tough. It's important to do that.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, you just have to take a break because eventually, I've got Dupuytren's contracture, so I'm eventually going to have to. I've got nodules on this hand too, so I'm eventually going to have a surgery. But I'm hanging on for dear life.
Put her off as much as you can. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll be back next week with something fun. I'm not sure what we're doing yet, but we'll figure it out, and we can't wait for you to join us again. Thanks,
yeah,
Shawn.
Awesome,
yeah. Do you want to play us out?
Sure.
Yeah, cool. All right, everybody. Take care.
Out.
Yeah. Have a great Wednesday. We'll see you next week.
I missed. Dang it.
Hell yeah.
Missed it.
Alrighty.
So much.
Oh,
That's
no,
horrible.
dude, that was perfect. It was absolutely
It
perfect.
was horrible.
Night, everybody. Take care.
Nice, you guys.
See you later.